Hello Aries, I am Ulrika, I'm a Lenormand card reader, but today we will do the financial card reading for the sign of Aries for the month of December. But before we start, I all want to wish you happy holidays. I hope that you all stay in very good health, and of course, I wish you financial prosperity. As always, we will do 4 card readings for the sign of Aries for the month of December. And these are based on the natural elements in your astrological chart, or for some of you, on your time of birth. These basic elements are air, earth, water, and fire. Now, the 4 objects that you always see on my table are directly connected to those elements. So you choose or you pick one that you think relates most to your personality, or you choose one you feel most comfortable with. This object of your choice, it should or it will relate the best to your current financial situation. However, if the object and the related video does not match your first choice, please check the other videos that are directly connected in the same session. I'm sure one of the 4 will fit you. Anyway, the matches represent the fire element, the stone represents the earth element, the aerosol sprayer represents the air element, and the shell represents the water element. Also, I want to add, if you have questions, you can always post them in the comments below, and as soon as I have time, of course, I will reply to them. Anyway, Aries, here we go for your financial card reading for December 2021. Hello Aries, and welcome to the Shell or the Water Group for your short philosophical card reading for the month of December. As the first card here, we see the card of creativity. What does this card mean? Well, today we live in a world, of course, where we can buy everything. Probably if you are on the lookout for presents, you are no longer creative, because this is why this card is here. The current society, it actually suffocates our creativity, because we can buy everything. So here this card tells us that probably in our buying or giving gifts, we need to use our imagination more. In the end, we pay for lack of creativity. For giving you an example, for instance, if you need some kind of box for a present, instead of looking out for a certain box, and you walk around in the mall for 2 hours before you actually find the box that you like for putting your present inside. Instead, you have probably some materials in your home. You have a box in your home, and with some kind of creativity, you can make a nice storage box with those recycled materials. But of course, we prefer to walk around in the mall for several hours, and we pay then a small fortune for these dream box. Another example is, for instance, if some of our relatives have their birthday coming up, with a little bit inventiveness, you could prepare a party, bake a cake, make some fun here without it actually costing you an astronomical high amount of money. So this card is about here. This card is about originality. Here is the order of the day. So this card tells you to start thinking out of the box here, and ask yourself what you really need. Try to be more creative, act differently if you buy presents. Here are the question is that we need to stimulate and think about things that create ourselves, our creative mind, save money also with our creativity. So make you room for your imaginative spirit in the kitchen, in the office, and of course, now with the holidays coming up, of course, with the presents that you are about to buy. So embark on this adventure of creativity. The next card that we see here is the card of youth. What does this card means? Well, this card, it relates to the diction that says boys will be boys and girls just want to have fun. You have probably just used it also to justify some financial reckless behaviors in the past. But mostly it costs us some money if we have financial outbursts, or we want to balance ourselves out with some things that we buy, and they are connected to our financial outbursts. Here, this card is about cash management and optimization of cash management. Of course, this requires maturity. Normally, we get more aware of using money as we get older. We get more perfect in cash management. It's the normal cycle of life. But however, there are people who are quickly gain control over consumption habits. And of course, these have strong advances compared to their peers. So here this card tells you to position yourself exactly where you are, reflect over a few ideas, compare your situation to your brothers, sisters, colleagues, and here this card asks us that we need to position ourselves somehow and somewhere. Do you still have spendthrift, or are you already old and wise with your money? Here this card tells us that we are never too young to be financially mature, and we are never too old to change financial behavior. If you have the advantage of youth and at the same time you are financially mature, this card tells you that soon you will have more greatly, and will be greatly rewarded. If you have the assets of being older, wiser, experienced, use those abilities in your own advantage, enjoy life's gifts with moderation, and if you do so, you will also advance more in life. The last card that we see here is the card of evolution. We know things change in life. Decades are different towards another. They are not alike. For instance, sometimes it doesn't even take a decade. If we compare ourselves with 2 years ago, the world has turned upside down with these so-called viruses that are around us. So here we see that, but for coming back to the finances here, 20 years or 25 years ago, we would have found it illogical and abnormal to pay big amounts of money for internet services. There are other things that we can mention here, but here we see that our expenses and our needs are increasing. And therefore, of course, we can eliminate certain things that are no longer essential. What are these non-essential things? Well, for instance, if you no longer receive phone calls at home, what is the purpose, for instance, of your landline? You need to pay for it every month, and if you don't use it, it has no economical value for you. For instance, if you catch yourself always watching TV on the internet and you pay for the broadcast channels, what is the purpose of these channels? These commercial subscriptions have no use for you anymore if you always watch the internet. But also, for instance, if you have subscriptions on newspapers or magazines, sometimes it's interesting that we consider the internet version. Why? Well, these are 40–50% cheaper than the paper version. So these are small things that mount up to a lot of money. Here we could stop these expenses. So this card tells us to review our monthly payments, adjust your spending to current times. Anyway, Aries, for the water group, this is all. I hope you get a little bit wiser out of this short financial card reading. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. If this card reading don't fit you at all, please check out the other 3 card readings that are immediately connected to it. And of course, check out our monthly Lenormand card readings, who are very much in depth. This is with another deck, and where you can find a lot of information for yourself about the month to come. Anyway, I want to thank you for your time, and I'm sure we see each other in my other videos. Thank you, and bye-bye for now. Hello, Aries, and welcome to the Aerosol or the Air group for your short philosophical card reading for the month of December. As the first card, we see here the card of luck. But what does this card exactly mean? Well, here we see that this card tells us that money don't bring happiness, but we need, of course, to admit that it's easy to have enough of it. If we think about it, once our basic needs are covered, we have psychological basic needs. We need shelter, we need food, we need security here. But after these are covered, we aspire mostly to self-fulfillment. Anyway, self-fulfillment, however, it does not come with buying every 3 years the car of the year. It doesn't come with buying the latest electronic gadgets. It's not connected to the latest pair of shoes that we are about to buy. So here it says that, of course, everybody would like to spend more, we would like to travel more, we would like to have more, but does this guarantee our feeling of completeness and wholeness? I don't think so here. And here this card tells us that we maybe best are taking a break, and we try to find our pursuit of happiness in a different way. It all, of course, depends on the standard of living that you have imagined for yourself. Are you in the life standard of a king? Are you happy with a regular life? Are you happy with very few? It all depends. We need to position ourselves somewhere. And of course, it comes with the joy connected to it. But if money were so strongly connected with happiness, why are the super rich in many cases very unhappy, even depressed? So this brings, of course, questions to the table. Here it says that these things mostly are not financially connected. Here it tells us that mostly the small things that we appreciate in life, the people around us, the people that we love, these are the important things in life, and maybe that is where the real treasure lies. So maybe you should not aspire to those things anymore, and maybe we should aspire to appreciate the people around us, and maybe that is the real deal. The next card is about automatic savings. Probably you come in a better financial situation and you are financially more at ease for the last period. And this card tells us to try to set up an automatic saving system. What is an automatic saving system? Well, if you have money left at the end of the month, most people leave that in their accounts. But here this card tells us to automatically transfer this in our savings account. So it's like you give an order to your bank for transferring this automatically at a certain date of the month, or you do it yourself with internet banking and you transfer funds that you have left on the end of the month in your savings account. By doing so, you will accumulate nice amounts of money that you can use for instance, for certain investments, for certain savings. Maybe you need to take care of a big family. Maybe you need to take care of your family. Maybe you need some savings. Maybe you want to make a trip. Maybe you need some money for your children, whatever it is, or you could be saving for your retirement. If you do so and you put up these accounts, you could amount certain serious amounts here on the long run that will bring you joy later on in life. Anyway, here this card tells us to set up a savings account, discipline ourselves, and begin a virtuous circle, which will lead to more stability. The last card is the card that is actually very appropriate in these times, or in this time, during this time. This is the card of buying gifts during Christmas, Easter, or Valentine. Here we see that this card wants to tell us we need to realize where these holidays originally come from. Of course, we can buy presents for our loved ones. We can buy a box of chocolate. We can buy a present. It's not about that we cannot. But here this card tells us that we need to go back to the real value and the real essence of these holidays. Some of them have a religious, but it doesn't matter, are in religious context, but it doesn't matter if you're religious or not. These events, these festivities, they turn from religious holidays or festivals into festivities of abundance. And this is what this card is about. Christmas gradually changed from a sacred holiday to a festivity of abundance. So in the rest of the year, mostly we have a lot of financial goodwill. We are strict towards ourselves. But during the Christmas period, we tend to spend money, and a lot mostly. And this card tells us to limit that, because we know if we overspend, we have the horror of January when the invoices arrive. So this card tells you to remember why these festivals exist, check the original and what it really means. It doesn't matter if it's your belief or not, but it is about putting these beliefs or these celebrations in their historical context. So this card tells us not to be fooled by advertising, marketing, spending. Gifts that you give to a loved one are meant to be an expression of feelings. And here actually the most expensive gift that you can give to your loved one is your time, because nobody in the current society has time. So here, this card tells us to spend time with our loved ones, and this will be a very high appreciated gifts if you pay attention to them, if you spend quality time with them. So Aries, for the air of the Aerosol group, this is all for this month. I hope you get a little bit wiser out of this short philosophical card reading. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. If this card reading don't fit your role, check the other 3 card readings that are directly connected to it. I'm sure one of the 4 will fit you. And also check out our monthly Lenormand card reading that we do in very deep depth for the month to come. Anyway, I want to thank you for your time, and I'm sure we see each other in my other videos. Thank you, and bye-bye for now. Hello, Aries, and welcome to the Stone Group or the Earth Group for your financial card reading for the month of December. As the first card, we see here the card of food. So it tells us that probably we need to eat healthier or more healthy, or we need to accumulate a healthy budget. What is this about? Well, we live in a hectic world today, and probably here this card also means that we probably take a lot of we spend a lot of money or a big budget on takeout meals. Maybe we go a lot in the restaurants. Here we see that this card tells us maybe that it's time to take our pots and our pans back out of the closet, and maybe we should cook healthier. And it's not only about the healthy cooking, but it also is about financial management. If we always order out, it costs a lot of money, and if we calculate in the end of the month, we have a lot of money spent on takeout meals, or maybe we buy food that is already prepared and we bring it home. But this card tells you to buy fresh vegetables, cook yourself, and here you will find and rejoice with a healthy lifestyle, and also you will not have the hefty bill that you have monthly now from the takeout meals. So break this chain, tell this card us from takeouts, learn to know the joy of the culinary art. You will eat better, and of course financially you will be a lot better off. But of course you will need to invest your time in these things. This is the other side, but eventually this is about saving money. So if you want to save money, if you want to be healthier, this card is a good advice. The next card that we have here is the small amounts of money that we spend. What does this mean? Well, we pay little attention to small amounts of money that we pay with credit cards. Sometimes small amounts that we spend, we don't even pay attention about it. Nobody checks the accounts anymore. Mostly at the end of the month, when the result comes from our monthly spending, at the home we don't even open the emails, we don't check the mail, we just throw away. We are so used to it, we don't think about small amounts that we have spent. Also, if things are discounted, we are more easy to consume and to buy. Here this card tells us to be more financially clear towards yourself, because here this card wants us to realize if we spend small amounts of money, or we spend small bills, it takes a lot of small coins to collect to 100, and 100 to bring it into thousands. So here we see that each coin with this card is of great importance. So the next time if you visit a store, rate what you have bought, look at the small amounts that you are about to spend, the small bills that you are ignoring or you don't value anymore. So give the small amounts that you are about to spend, or that you spend, its moment of glory. In doing so, you will accumulate nice amounts of money that you can maybe save for something else that you really want for a long time. The last card is the card of luck. We all know the saying that that happiness money don't bring happiness, but nevertheless, we all know that we need money. We are all very much aware of it. But of course, there are basic psychological needs. We need food, we need shelter, we need to warm us. Some of us need air conditioning or a ventilator if they live in hot areas here. And adding to that, it would be, of course, wrong to think that the car of the year meets one of these essential needs. The last pair of fashion shoes is not included in these essential needs. The last electronical gadget also don't belong there. So here, of course, it goes without saying that we all like to travel more, we all like to spend more, but this is about the feeling of completeness. If we buy these small gadgets or whatever it is, it don't gives us a feeling of completeness. So this card tells us to take a break of spending and try to reorganize your pursuit of happiness. If it was so strongly connected to joy and bliss, why are so many of the rich very unhappy and even depressed? So, of course, money is essential to meet our basic needs. However, when these are filled, then it becomes our personal quest to happiness. So this card is about enjoying the little things in life. Mostly the joy is very close to upon us. Mostly these are the people who are very close to us and the time we spend with these people. Probably that is the real deal, and happiness is probably already very close to you. Anyway, Aries, for the Stone Group, this is all for this month. I hope you get a little bit wiser out of this short philosophical card reading. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. If this card reading don't fit you at all, please check the other 3 that are immediately connected here. And of course, check out our monthly Lenormand card readings. This is another deck where you find a lot of information for yourself about the month to come for your sign, for the sign of Taurus. Anyway, I want to thank you for your time, and I'm sure we see each other in my other videos. Thank you for your time, and bye-bye for now. Hello Aries, and welcome to the Matches or the Fire group for your short philosophical card reading, financial card reading for the month of December. The first card that we see here is the card of our monthly payments. We all have monthly payments. We have our phone, our internet, we have magazine subscriptions, insurances that come back, and we pay little attention to them. But a large proportion of people don't even notice if these regular expenses are increasing. Here we see that mostly, for instance, for subscriptions, we signed in when we had a promo, but after these firms, they are very smart, of course, and when this period is over, they adjust to the regular amount. So this card tells us to check that. Here you need to check if your invoices have been slightly increasing, especially the subscription that you have. Normally we should be informed customers, and we should see these changes in expenses, but of course nobody checks that. So pay attention to these time-limited discounts. Keep track of expirations of your promotions. If you have an internet company or internet, of course you have, check if you still are in the promo, and if you're no longer in the promo, just call them and see if you cannot go back in your promo that you had before. Also, it's about insurances. Check your broker, see if you cannot get better conditions with your broker. If there is not some discounts you can get here. It's also about bank cards. Check if you bank don't overcharge you. Sometimes this is also our banks that overcharge you. Sometimes we stay with the same bank out of habit and because we are used to it. But sometimes here with this card, we see also that internet banking can be a very rewarding thing. Why are internet banks so cheap? Well, they are cheap, of course, because they have no branches. They have no branches and they have no staff, and most people are a little bit scared of them. But if we do a little bit research on the internet, we notice that they are actually connected to big banks. So mostly that is not an issue. But the real thing here is with internet banking, it's not unusual that we save €2,000 or dollar per year. These are just basic expenses because these banks are very cheap. Mostly you just pay your plastic and a small amount if you withdraw money. So you should check if you cannot make any savings here on your monthly payments and on your bank cards. The last card here is that this card is actually a little bit in the same area. Here we see that this card tells us that we live in a world of overconsumptions. We are daily confronted with advertisements, and sometimes we lose track what is essential and what is no longer essential. Some things are luxurious and we assume they are luxurious goods. Our basic needs also, of course, also are changed. A smartphone now is essential. We all need a cell phone, a smartphone. We all have internet access, and most of us also like to travel if this is already possible during these days now with these viruses around us, but normally it's part of the plan. Anyway, the essentials here, this is what it means here. The essentials has been replaced or have been replaced. So this card tells us to evaluate our real needs within this new society. So, and since here we see also, this is about overconsumption. If we spend too much, it sometimes blurs our perspective. Sometimes the real necessities, we no longer see them. Sometimes luxurious goods are already incalculated. This is about hyperconsumption. It blinds us sometimes. So here this card tells us to determine what your minimum needs are and estimate your non-essential expenses. If you don't know, you just keep your invoices for a month and then you put everything together and then you see what you spend on luxurious goods. If you don't spend on those, you can save a lot of money. And probably you can do a lot of things with those superficial attributes that you buy or luxurious goods that you buy. So this card tells us to live according to our basic needs, live more simpler if you can. Your mind and probably your wallet will be better off. The last card is, that we see here is repayment of certain debts. It's possible here that you have forgotten about certain debts that you have on credit cards, because this is what this card is about. If you have certain credit cards, some of these credit cards are real sharks, and this is probably your case here. If you have several credit cards, the one that always gives you the money, even if you are low below zero, that's the one who costs you most money. We actually should change the names of these cards, because these people are sharking. They are really taking a lot of money from you. They have interests 20, 25% if you are below zero. And probably this is what this card is about. You need to check if you don't have anything on cards like that. And if you do, you should get rid of these cards. You should go maybe in internet banking, as we saw here, which is very cheap, or you should change your bank all over. Try to avoid these expenses. If you have expenses there, or if you have debts there, try to cover up these expenses, try to fill these cards and try to balance them out, and also try to get rid of them, because this is really very heavy on our budget or on your budget here. This is what we are seeing here. We need to pull ourselves together and get rid of these expensive cards here. And if you need to restrict yourself a little bit because you overspend a little bit with the credit cards, that it's also what it's about. You could reduce your lifestyle a little bit, so don't wait any longer to get rid of these cards or spend less. Anyway, Aries, for the fire group, this is all for this month. I hope you get a little bit wiser out of this short card reading. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. If this card reading don't fit you at all, please check out the other 3 card readings that are directly connected to it. And also check out our monthly Lenormand card readings that we do for the sign of Aries every month into them. Anyway, I want to thank you for your time, and I'm sure we see each other in my other videos. Thank you for your time, and bye-bye for now.